head up. Star copy overhead. Message to observers. Alpha 3 rounds, AT delay in effect. 3 guns. Bravo 2 rounds, 2 guns.
Flavor's Robbers.
The First Battle of Fallujah, codenamed Operation Vigilant Resolve, was an operation against militants in Fallujah, as well as an attempt to apprehend or kill the perpetrators of the killing of the 4 US contractors in March 2004. The head catalyst for the operation was the highly publicized killing and mutilation of 4 Blackwater USA private military contractors, and the killings of 5 American soldiers in Habanaya a few days earlier. The battle greatly split the public within Iraq, lowering public opinion. On the 3rd of April 2004, the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force received a written command from the Joint Task Force, ordering offensive operations against Fallujah. This order went against the wishes of the Marine commanders on the ground, who wanted to conduct surgical strikes and raids against those suspected of involvement in the Blackwater deaths. During the night of April 4th, 2004, American forces launched a major assault in an attempt to re-establish security in Fallujah by encircling it with 2,000 troops. At least 4 homes were hit in aerial strikes, and there was sporadic gunfire throughout the night. By the break of dawn on April 5, 2004, headed by the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, American units had surrounded the city with an aim towards retaking it. American troops blockaded roads leading into the city with Humvees and concertina wire. They also took over a local radio station and handed out leaflets urging residents to remain in their homes and help American forces identify insurgents and any Fallujahans who were involved in the Blackwater deaths. At the time, it was estimated that there were 12 to 24 separate hardcore groups of insurgents, armed with RPGs, machine guns, mortars, and anti-aircraft weapons. Some of it was supplied by the Iraqi police. By the 6th of April 2004, US military forces said that Marines may not be able to control the centre of the town, foreshadowing the bloodshed in Fallujah. In the opening days of the battle, it was reported that up to a third of the civilian population had fled the city, defying the orders of the Marines to remain in their homes. The siege forced the closing of Fallujah's 2 main hospitals, Fallujah General Hospital and the Jordanian Hospital, which were reopened during the ceasefire on the 9th of April 2004. Also on the date, the port visit to Jebel Ali by the aircraft carrier USS George Washington was cancelled, and the George Washington Carrier Strike Group and its embarked carrier Air Wing 7 were ordered to remain on the station in the Persian Gulf as fighting intensified between coalition forces and Iraqi insurgents around Fallujah. Rebels in Fallujah stood their ground. As the Americans attempted to tighten their hold on the city, air bombardments rained down on insurgent positions. Lockheed gunships attacked targets with their Gatling guns and howitzers a number of times, and scout snipers became a core element of the Marine strategy, averaging around 31 kills a battle. While PSYOP teams lured Iraqis out into the open for scout snipers to blare American music on the loudspeakers. After 3 days of constant fighting, it was estimated that the United States had gained control of 25% of the city, and it was suggested that the insurgents had lost a number of key defensive positions. Due to the fact that American attacks were taking a toll on civilians as well as insurgents, coalition forces faced growing criticism from within the Iraqi Governing Council, where Pachachi said, "These operations by the Americans are unacceptable and illegal." At noon on the 9th of April 2004, under pressure by the Governing Council, Paul Bremer announced the US forces will be holding a ceasefire, stating that they want to facilitate negotiations between the Iraqi Governing Council, insurgents and city spokespersons, and to allow government supplies to be delivered to the residents. Due to the ceasefire, much needed humanitarian relief, which had been held up by the fighting and blockade, finally managed to enter the city. At this point in the battle, it was estimated that 600 Iraqis had been killed, at least half of whom were non-combatants. Although hundreds of insurgents had been killed in the assault, the city remained firmly under their control. These firefights include US Marines being attacked from insurgents located within a mosque. An airstrike destroyed the mosque, prompting a public. An American F-16 Falcon dropped a 2,000-pound bomb. Insurgents attacked US defensive positions, causing the Americans to call in air support. After a long and bloody battle, on the 1st of May 2004, the loss of the Fallujah Brigade prompted the Second Battle of Fallujah in November of that year. this was known as one of the bloodiest battles in Iraq. The First Battle of Fallujah was only a taste of the bloodshed yet to come in Iraq, as the second battle would be like hell on earth compared to the first. Overall, the first battle was an insurgent victory, which was likely from the start due to the insurgents having 3,600 and the US only having 2,200. Perhaps the US underestimated the insurgents, as they were a well-trained army, and the insurgents were simply civilians fighting for their city.